guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today, we're back in the writer's room. You guys, I have had so much fun doing these episodes. The response has been incredible, so we're going to keep going because it just never ceases to amaze me how much they can kiss their own A's and how far up each other's A's they are and all that jazz. So why not keep going with this, right? Okay, so where we left off, I did a really long one on the last one, and again, the response was overwhelming. You guys were incredible. So many people seemed to really enjoy it because I really went off and let you guys know how I feel. So let's keep doing that. We pick up this one we're in Tragically Hip. It's Samantha Irby, and you guys, she is a lightning rod. I mean, she's one of the writers, so technically it's all of their fault. But she particularly irks me because she talks about how much she relates to Miranda. So she's kind of the voice of Miranda in a sense. And also of Che. She refers to that in another episode. But then has since come out and denounced all of that and says, oh, stop sending me threats. Yeah, it's a lot, right? I mean, it's a lot. So let's get into this episode and see what she has to say. Again, we're picking up from the last episode. We're on Tragically Hip, where she's talking about the episode where Che and Miranda hook up in the kitchen and Carrie pees in a Snapple bottle. We're going to get into it, but first, check out my merch, link below. I got Midnight Toast, Justice for Steve. It's a load of pants. Or find me on Patreon. It's patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. So we left off with Michael Patrick King over-explaining everything and being very pompous. We have Elisa Zaritsky and Julie Rottenberg, also writers of the show, both the original and now. We'll hear them chime in, but we also have Samantha Irby, she just joined with And Just Like That.
I actually turned to, I think, you two, and I said, she just gave us permission for the storyline.
I mean, right off the bat, right? He's already starting with this. All I could think of is Chandler from Friends. Could you be more self-important?
Because someone not being happy is important.
I just can't, right? I mean, the self-important, I gotta find a new word for self-important. The load of pants. You know what? This is a load of pants, right? I mean, what does he think he's working on? Does he think he's curing ailments? I mean, what's happening?
Doesn't mean anyone else is to blame. It means they're not happy.
I mean, maybe the way she's going about it, Miranda, she's going about it isn't the best way.
I really can't figure out why none of us like the writing on this show. Any clues? Anybody?
You know, I'm sure people would like her to tidily divorce Steve and split their assets before.
Justice for Steve. Why does any of that have to happen? This is Miranda who fought for her and Steve. This is not Cynthia Nixon in character form.
Banging someone new. But there are going to be people who are like, okay, she's doing a complete overhaul of her life, and I get it. And I support that.
You know what it is for me? We spent however many years watching the original series, and we got to see overhauls of their life. We got to see them in transition. We got to see them with different partners and different situations and stuff. You know, she didn't get steady with Steve until later. So why is it bad to show that point of view now? It's completely natural to see that she would be settling into married life and home life, all that stuff, or whatever, her work life, all that. Why is that a bad thing? Why do we have to, flip it on its ear?
And it's super brave to do that, especially when you're already settled, right? Like you're 55, you have a good job, you have enough money.
You guys, I can't. She just called it brave.
It's really brave to be like, I want to do something.
Oh, brave again. Comment brave below. Brave. We're also brave. We're brave for watching this.
Something else, I want to be of service. And also, I don't want to eat ice cream with my husband anymore. I want to get fingered by a podcast host.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh my gosh. This is... Here, ding, 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 ding. Like, my head's going to explode. This is exactly why we hate this show. She just summed it up. Oh my God. That's not brave. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I said it again in an earlier episode, and so many people thought it was funny. I think it's applicable here. I'm going to take my chopstick out of my food. I'm going to stick in my ear. I'm going to swirl it around because I cannot with this.
I mean, that's on my bucket list.
I mean, the other thing.
But none of these ass clowns can figure out why we don't find it funny or interesting, and it's a terribly written storyline.
Fingered by a podcast host.
Let me just say that the other great thing that the hip surgery gave us was the idea of an unfocused Carrie.
All right, Captain Thrust, why is that a good thing? Why do we want an unfocused Carrie? We've seen that. We did however many early season years of that. We had an unfocused Carrie. It's finally time for her to gain her focus. I think that's one of the benefits that comes with age and wisdom is, you have your focus.
Because of prescription drugs. So we got to see looser Carrie, which introduced another sort of.
All right, asshat. I got a lot of comments on that, and I don't even know if I ever talked about how upsetting it was for you guys and me too, like for us all to see that storyline with Carrie. That's supposed to be a huge comedic moment, but a lot of you didn't find it funny because so many people do struggle with prescription issues. And listen, I'm not trying, I sound like I'm trying to tear it apart. That's not what I'm doing. I'm really not. If it was, I'm one that I could overlook that storyline and just laugh it off as ha ha ha, like we've seen this, characters get drunk or messed up on something and it's kind of funny, but it's already so depressing that I just found it more depressing.
Interesting story point for us, which is she mentions a classic episode where Samantha from season 1, I think.
Listen, bozo, you don't get to talk about our Samantha. That's our Samantha, not yours. You can keep the one that's doing the writing.
Season 1. 1 or 2, where Samantha, her diaphragm is stuck, and Samantha says
Jones, not Irby.
Samantha Jones.
Although Samantha
Oh my God, please don't compare the two.
would go
Do
get
that.
that
That's
diaphragm
true.
out.
And Carrie comes.
Heartbeat.
My chopstick is getting shoved further in my ear.
I know it was early in the series because they were hanging out at her apartment, all 4 of them,
Yes.
with nothing to do, there was no restaurant, there was no
Perfect.
club. So they're hanging out there, and Carrie's going on a date, but she tried a diaphragm and it was stuck.
Listen, you pompous ass, we know the episode. We're the audience. We're the fans that stuck by the original series. You don't have to explain them to us. We know them backwards and forwards. You're the one that doesn't seem to know the characters at all.
She couldn't get it out. She decided she didn't want it. So Samantha says, turn around and go in. And she looks as Carrie leaves, she looks at the other 2 and says, and I just had my nails done. So that episode was very edgy for that time that a friend would pull somebody else's diaphragm out. So when I think of Samantha and friendship, I think of that.
Oh, he's so full of shit. This is the same ones that wrote her off as being mad at Carrie for not hiring her. I mean, what? So she left for London. That is the stupidest storyline ever.
And the fact that we deliberately had Carrie reveal that because she's high on something, and it's just something she wouldn't reveal if she was in her right mind, which makes
It makes you guys the laziest writers that have ever existed.
her journey on the podcast blissful to Bobby Lee and Sada Ramirez's characters, because they're like, she's finally given it up.
Yeah, I think that's more to do with Che being a drug addict.
And then you see that look on Charlotte's face like, oh God, she just mentioned Samantha. And the whole thing's in there because we love the idea of keeping Samantha alive.
Mm-hmm.
And how do we bring Samantha in, which is Charlotte's perfectly socially over-concerned about someone oversharing. So we got Carrie to reach out to Samantha. And it feels exciting because Samantha responds in a true Samantha text.
That's not a true Samantha text. Samantha wouldn't be texting. She'd be right there next to Carrie if Carrie hadn't fucked it all up.
I'm glad your vagina's getting airtime. And for that minute, Samantha Jones is in the show, in the script that Samantha Irby wrote.
Oh, self-congratulations, pat on the back. Ha ha ha, tee hee hee.
I do love to, because when friendships end, sometimes it's like scorched earth, you never talk again. But there is, Carrie's having like parallel mourning experiences.
And that's why I ask, and so many of you in the comments ask, why is the writer's room like this? Where's the voice to say, hey, why are we giving Carrie parallel morning experiences? This is awful and not right and too much and not what people want.
And it's like being able, when someone dies, it's like, okay, that's it, right? Like I can be sad.
Now I have Chandler being stuck in my head, so I'm going to say, could I be any more sad?
I can think about the good times. There's no danger of that person coming back. Like you can freeze them in your mind in like whatever way you want. But when your friendships end and the person is just like across what ocean separates, I'm too dumb to know which ocean she's across.
You guys, it's too easy. I can't even make fun of it because it's too easy. Come on.
But it's like there's someone over there who, like, maybe I should talk to her. Maybe I should reach out. Maybe this will become a friendship again. And so I think it's interesting because, like, you don't just put someone out of your mind. I have friends I haven't talked to, or like we're not.
Do you know what I'm hearing? And I'm not just singling out Samantha Irby. What I'm hearing with all these writers, especially Michael Patrick King, me, 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 me. So I'm hearing it now, me, me, me. It's all about me. No wonder we all hate the show.
Not friends anymore, but if they called, I'd take the call. The ending of a friendship is so like tricky and weird, and I love seeing Carrie like navigate.
We've already talked about seeing the double tragedy for Carrie, and now we're talking about, the fun topic of ending a lifelong friendship.
That
I agree, and I also love that in this day and age, like this moment we're in, texting exists as this little arrow you can point at someone because, 15 years ago, a falling out with a friend, it's much harder to just touch base a tiny bit and say, thinking of you or happy birthday. You're not.
I'm sorry, I blacked out from the chopstick. What's happening?
Picking up the phone, you're not writing out a card. And so I personally appreciate that that's how they stay even a tiny bit in each other's life.
Nope, it's lazy writing. You're wrong. It's just an easy way to put that in a little box and put a bow on it.
And they could do this dance forever. They could do the, hey, happy birthday for 10 years and it wouldn't fix the friendship, but also it's not dead and buried.
I'm sorry, are they trying to teach us this in the podcast now too? Not just the show? I'm confused.
But Sarah Jessica's playing it too, which I always loved. It's just another breakup. And when she's holding that phone before she texts Samantha.
Of course he's going to say that. We've already found out it's Sarah Jessica Parker and Michael Patrick King. P.S. I always want to call him Michael Patrick Harris. So if I ever do that, I'm sorry. I get Neil Patrick Harris stuck in my head. But, okay, what was I saying? Sarah Jessica Parker, Michael Patrick King, they spearheaded this whole thing. This was their vision. That's one of the reasons it's so awful.
Might as well be her holding the black rotary phone before she decides whether she's going to call big and hang up. Or when she was going online, when no one was going online and she sends Aiden an email. The idea of, should I let it alone or should I risk?
I also love the very kiss-assy background going on when he talks. He's clearly running this thing and they are kissing each other's asses and no good ideas are getting through because, as a lot of you put in the comments so eloquently that I love so much, they're just smelling each other's farts.
Contact.
Healing something it's a breakup. It's another breakup.
It's a heartbreak,
and it's just another...
It's just another tragedy we can load on these characters. It's just another awful storyline we can throw on the viewers. It's just another way to make everybody miserable. You're welcome, everybody.
Avenue of exploring who she is now post-Big and post...
My God, I want to say Post Malone right there.
Her everyday connection to Samantha. We always try to weave stories together. When we did Sex and the City, there was always 4 storylines. Each of the ladies had a story, and it was always like this braid that we kept weaving. Okay, this is the sex story. This is the personal story.
I would argue the only one that they've decided to give a story to is Miranda in the reboot. Yes, I know about Carrie's husband, but beyond that, what have we seen her do?
This is the
Comedy
funny, and this is the friend story. So there's still that DNA in this show, and
Oh, that's where you're wrong, bozo. There is not any of that. We definitely don't have the comedy. We really don't have anything but tragedy going on.
the second strand that we're trying to weave through episode 5 is Charlotte and Rose.
So Charlotte has this incredibly awkward moment on the Zoom with the mom friends where someone refers to Rock being...
Oh, you guys, I can't. They are doing this to give Charlotte a storyline, but it's a piss poor one.
so great in the school play. And Charlotte's like, wait, did I miss something? Is there a new kid? And you see all those moms' faces just freeze in terror. And
then you get to do the joke, did everybody just freeze? Which is what has happened constantly on Zoom when somebody's so stunned they don't move.
And this is how she and Harry discover, and we decided a new interesting way to do it would be to steal right from Sam's life story. Do you want to tell your story?
Yeah.
Why have we decided that Samantha Irby is the voice of all these women? I don't understand. I understand that things happen to people and they do have experiences like this, but to just build off this one writer's life, it just make sense.
So I have a wife and she has kids, and her youngest sent randomly, like, we were watching TV, sent a TikTok that was like, hey, I'm a lesbian. And no explanation.
So I'm not even going to talk shit about this woman's family. That's her thing, her business, whatever. Fine. I ask you, what does this have to do with Sex in the City / and Just Like That?
No context. And I was like, the first thing I thought was like,
sorry, I have to pause it again. I just keep thinking how lazy this is. So I understand that writers draw upon their own experiences, of course, but that seems to be all that they've done. They have written nothing original. They've taken all the joy out of it. I don't understand. And then this is what they think that we want to watch.
Is this real? Because that's what you think, is
right. Everything seems like a joke.
Is this a real thing? And then, yes, it was real. And I was like, oh man. Adjusting to living with kids is like a whole thing that I don't know how well I'm doing at that, but adjusting to the way they communicate.
I would argue that the kids are probably communicating better than these writers are.
Is a whole... I just was like, okay, great. It's so refreshing. We could just move forward in this new reality. And immediately when we started talking about this in the room, I was like, I have an idea for how we should find out about Rock. It also...
I'm trying my darndest to make this part more interesting. I just can't. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because there's so much I don't understand. I just don't understand how this is supposed to be interesting for us, the viewer. So I started to skip ahead, but I had to stop it here because I need you to hear this self-congratulatory bullshit right here.
I also love personally that the helicopter mom, who we know Charlotte to be, has just missed this. We could have gone the other way, where Charlotte, who has definitely told both of her kids, I will be looking at your social media, so don't think it's private. But she actually is, she dropped a ball, and that's fun.
And our justification is what Samantha said. Well, you put about 10 TikToks up a day, I'm behind.
Yeah.
So again, I draw your ears to the self-congratulatory nature of this. We could have done it one way, but we chose the better way. Oh, God. All I can think of is Che's stand-up. You know what I always say with Che? I feel like she's going to stand up on stage and go, waka, waka, waka. That's kind of the same vibe I'm getting right now from this quote unquote writer's room. Waka waka waka. Look how funny we are. You guys were so clever.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
she's
I
not
don't know. I
perfect.
can't keep up with anything these kids do. I'm like, I didn't look at my phone for 10 minutes and now the entire world has changed.
Right.
Great.
Yeah, that's right. I think this is a moment to really talk about the fact that our scripts and us as writers have always checked in with GLAAD, the LGBTQ plus advisory board.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a thought. How about you check with your original core audience and you don't worry so much about it being offensive and teaching us all lessons and just maybe worry about entertaining us and providing good storylines.
Media board. And one of the interesting things that we've sort of been in this dance with them about is how this can be presented so that it isn't able to be picked up by any one side to be used as proof that the other side is right.
Okay, I think I've heard about as much bullshit as I can handle for one day, 1 year, one lifetime. It's crazy. This is crazy. Again, they're so self-important. They think they're curing some sort of disease or something, the way they talk about all of this. I honestly don't know why I'm surprised by all of this, but I am. It's bullshit. It's crazy. So I think we're going to go on to the next episode of the podcast, and we'll start there because, yeah, there's a gin-shaped hole in my wall from banging my head into it over this one. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I can't wait to talk to you again very soon. Check back. I have tons of videos going up. If you do pick up merch, thank you so much for that. Please leave me a comment because I'd like to thank you for that. And check out my Patreon. Thank you guys so much. Take care. Stay safe and healthy. Bye-bye.